All right, once again, I've had camera trouble. I had no audio in this whole recording. And it seems like if we catch any fish, the camera never works. And if we don't catch anything, the camera works fine. So this was Wednesday, March 26th. And we're on a side channel off the Ohio. And we fished here numerous times. The water temperature today was 52 degrees, and the air temperature when we got there was 45 degrees. We had a really hard time finding bait once again. A month ago, this channel was just full of shad, and now you can't find any at all. We were able to get one common carp and use it for bait, and we had a couple of skipjack that were 2 days old that Gabe caught down below the dam. So what we're doing here is we're both bouncing off the bottom as the trolling motor's sort of on an autopilot. I'm trying to keep the speed about 5 miles per hour, and I'm bouncing off the bottom. I'm also, with that green rod right beside the motor, I'm dragging behind the boat. And we're using a piece of skipjack on that rod, and I'm bouncing with a piece of the uh, cut European carp. All right, the dragging rig is your typical dragging setup with a three-way swivel, and I have attached to one of the arms of the swivel a dragging weight, and then the other arm has attached to it a long leader that has a float on it and that will keep the bait off the bottom as it's dragging. So frequently this bouncing it will produce either catfish or drum. So I had several bites, and we're all too little to get on the hook, but I eventually get one here. You can see I'm bouncing, not leaving it on the bottom very long because you get hung up if you do. This is a real rocky bottom. I'm doing some fine corrections with the trolling motor to keep us down the center with the wind blowing. There it goes. And this first fish was a channel cat. I think we guessed it weighed 5 or 6 pounds. So at this point, we've gotten near the end of the channel, and we're anchor fishing. And Gabe's still bouncing one just a little bit. The current's really fast right here, and he's going to get a bite here on the rod just to his right that you can't really see. So he'll look over here in a minute and see that he's got a bite. There he goes. This is a relatively small drum. All right, I'm trying to get a backlash out of my line here, and I get a bite on my other cast out line. And clearly not a monster, but you can tell it's got something going. All right, Gabe finally gets a decent bite here that's not a drum. I think this is another channel cat. We'll have to see. Yeah, this is another small channel cat, about the size of the other two. Okay, we're slowly working our way back towards the main channel, stopping every 50 to 100 yards, and Gabe gets a good takedown here. And I'm going to have to get up and reel in one of the rods to keep him from getting tangled up here in a second. This turned out to be an 18-pound blue, so it was our biggest fish of the day. All right, here's another bite on the left side. It turns out to be a blue, not very big. All right, Gabe gets another one here, and it's hard to tell what they are when you're pulling them in because the drum feel like catfish a lot of times, but this was another drum. All right, Gabe's got another pretty good takedown here. And this one's definitely not a drum. About pulls the rod out from him, but it's a nice channel cat. Turns out it's 13 and a half pounds, which is the boat record for a channel cat. So we've decided to call it a day. It's about 12:30, 1 o'clock. And of course, when you're out there fishing, you can't tell what your camera's recorded, whether you have pictures, whether you have sound, until you get home. Because there's no way to tell on a GoPro if it worked or not. They're tiny little cameras, or according to the company, they're only designed to be worked for 20 to 30 minutes, and then if you anything after that, you're on your own. And my camera's been going 6 or 7 hours, and sometimes the video doesn't work, sometimes the audio doesn't work. And if there was a better camera that I could rely on, I'd get it. But everybody else who's using other cameras has similar problems with the camera shutting down and overheating and various other things. So we did catch 7 or 8 catfish. Two blue cats, the rest of them are channel cats. One of them was the boat record at 13.5 pound channel cat. Of course, our blue cat boat record is a 92 pounds, so there's a big difference. So maybe next time we'll get audio and video on the camera at the same time.